So this is officially getting started with what we need to do. There will be one question about the Constitution, a thing we want to add to it, but mostly it's information about what's going on. And this is what Tom was just referring to. So as you just met, Leslie, who runs the MFA program at Pepperdine University in Los Angeles, she won the award for this article, which I highly recommend you go check out. Very interesting. And Monica Badarek won for creating dialogue for TV. Screenwriters talk television, right? This is also a book that you can pick up. Let me go over here. She gave a thank you speech. I'm not going to read it. It's going to be on the recording that we're doing right now, so y'all can read it later. She wasn't able to be with us. She's in Australia, and she's driving. She was going to try to do a Zoom, but she's driving today, so that's fine. And of course, you just heard what we did. This is one of the things we talked about in the Executive Council this year. Again, isn't meant to be every year, but I think as we consider different conferences, there are other writers we know, obviously from many other countries, who are the first in certain things. And I hope that as we continue, we'll think of other people who deserve to have this recognition. So now we're in the AGM. I learned this in New Zealand, and I've seen it done more and more often in the United States, and I'm very pleased with it. I do it in Los Angeles, but there I discuss the tongue venation. I had to consider, oh no, I'll be in Missouri. Who, in fact, am I acknowledging? And it would actually be the Osage, Cherokee, and the Missouri peoples who owned this land before any of us showed up. So we want to acknowledge their elders and that all these tribes still exist. There was much discussion about how they were extinct. That was all bullshit. So it's a beautiful thing to see the resurrection of that. And of course, we had a presentation in one of our pieces today about indigenous female screenwriter, and that was a beautiful thing to share with everyone. It was one of the things I was looking forward to at this conference. So just in case you don't know who's who, these are all the folks on our Executive Council this year. Anna Weinstein, Jan Cernik, Rose Farrell does our website. Isadora Garcia is not here, but she's on membership stuff. And of course, Clarissa is here. Clarissa, where are you at? There you are. Okay. Clarissa is our early career representative. And we pick somebody every year who's new in the business, and they help out with the social media. So we'll talk about that for a second. I want you to notice some new things we did this year. This is stuff that Rose did on the website. And I'm going to pull out of this for 2 seconds to go to the website, which is hiding. Oh, did you close Chrome? I'm going to close my Chrome. Don't close Chrome. Where'd it go?
It's right there.
Yeah, where? Oh, it's hiding right there. Nope, that's the other one. It's not there. Oh, because I have to do this. Sorry. I wanted you to see that this actually moves. So it had been Rose's idea to make sure we covered as many languages as we could to recognize the various languages of the people in our group. So I don't know if you've checked it out, but I think it's beautiful. If there is a language that is not included, please email one of us. You can find our information on the website. You can send it to me, and I'll send it on to Rose. But she was able to do this, and I think it's a beautiful thing. All right, so now I have to go back to where I was. Shit.
Same window.
I know, same window. I know, sorry. Sorry. All right, where am I at? I swear, you do this all the time, you mess it up. All right. The other thing that I just talked about was we put up, we also asked everybody for lists of their unions in their various countries. So that's now a space you can find in the resources area. This is the awards tab I was talking about. So here are all the books from the past, and we'll be adding in today's information in future. Again, since we're not handing you a statuette, nobody needs that. What you need is to put it on your CV to get tenure. So this is a place you can continue to point to, right, and find it exists. Then, as I said, Clarissa is involved in doing our social media for us. So every person on the group gave me a report. This is a look at how our Facebook numbers have gone. We've added more and more people, which is our point. We want to get more information out there, right? But Clarissa was brilliant about reestablishing Instagram. We had kind of let that go. Of course, we've realized less people are on Facebook, more people are on Instagram. We needed to reinvigorate our presence there. So if you haven't joined us on Instagram, please do that. She also created a LinkedIn page, which we had not really bothered with before. This is all because we got rid of Twitter, because we just didn't need to be there for lots of reasons. So we wanted to make sure we were still someplace present on that. And then she's thinking about what to do in the future, which is obviously continuing to find other ways to be present digitally. If people think there are other sites that we might be part of, you should again let us know, and Clarissa will do that work. Isadora sent y'all a membership survey. If you haven't filled that out, she's going to resend it on the listserv today. If you haven't joined the SRN, so you don't get that information, join. It's all free, as you know, or you're finding out right now. And you get really cool emails about job opportunities all over the world, and of course information about the conferences. So she talked about what she did. She got 262 replies. We have officially something like 700 members, people who are on the listserv, but so far only that many people replied. So do if you haven't. She found some very interesting information. What is the occupation of the bulk of that 262 members? What I find really interesting is the both. We often think that there are either academics or screenwriters, but we've discovered that a good half of us are both. We all have credits in both places in the world. And I think that's really interesting because it shows that we have this joint goal together, this joint things to do. So that's something we discover from this. Countries of origin. We were begun in the United Kingdom, so as expected, there are more members there still today than the States, although we often don't have a lot of folks from the States who travel to Europe all the time, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to do this here, obviously. This is the first time in 10 years that we've been in the States, then going down Australia, Brazil, down. We've tried, we've had conversations about can we publish things in other languages, what can we do? Last year's discussion was English ends up being the language that everyone is using, so we might as well stick with it. But we want to do more to get people from other countries to join and be part of things. Then this was a quick, like how many conferences had you gone to, right? How many people want to come to conferences who aren't able to? The purple is people who've been to 10 or more. How many people is that? Who's been to 10 or more conferences in the room? Only like 3, there you go, see, exactly, Ronald. So very interesting. We'd like to get, obviously, chances for more people, which is why we do it all over the world. So, you know, if you can't go to one of them, try one of them. We have working groups. You saw some samples yesterday from Maxine's working group that does the script work together. We have the lovely group that Romana Torina reinvigorated again, where she's hosted once a month screenwriting talks online on Zoom, so that's been really great. So if you think of another group, it's like a subgroup inside our group, something you might want to talk about very specifically. That's something else to bring up with us. And then a lot of people are interested in doing things that collaborate on our teaching ideas and what are the things we do in class. So these are all the stuff we're doing on. This was a group that, a discussion about should we do something about finding grants and other projects we could do together, you know, intercontinentally. That's something we have done a little bit. You know, that's cool. These were some suggestions that she got along the way, right? So these are things that we might expand on. We talk about this stuff at the EC. We meet once a month on Zoom. So this is where we get our ideas. Some ideas people gave us were things that are already involved in Romana's working group. So I thought that was really lovely to see that some ideas had been put forward in that way. This is the Constitution thing we want to do. The early career representative was something that was discussed in a meeting some few years ago and then put into place. And so several people have had that position over time. What we'd like to do is solidify it with the idea that it should be a 2-year membership, right? And that every year we'd pick someone new because learning the whole thing with this social media and stuff, it takes a while to warm up to. So we sort of, as soon as someone's ready to go, we get rid of them. Right? So we thought we'd add it in as a 2-year piece, but each year we'd get someone new and they'd learn from the person who'd done it last year, and we'd have a continuous knowledge base. So that's a thing we need to vote on. Do we have any yeses? Yes. Do I have enough people thinking yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I love how those things work. Then we're going to add that to the Constitution. I think it's a beautiful idea. Do you have a question, Ronald?
Second part, does that mean that after the 2 years, they then go on with another mandate with me and the Executive Council for another 2 years?
Right.
But that would be counter to the fact that all the other members of the Executive Council are actually voted.
On the second part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so the second thing, yeah, that's the second part, sorry. So yeah, so we're all agreeing on the first part, right? And the second was that they should then, you know, but anyone can nominate themselves to be on the EC full time.
But I mean, what I'm asking is, if they nominate to become a full member, it means that the members still get to vote them. They don't get.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was my question. Sorry if it wasn't clear.
Yes, so yeah, what Paul was clarifying is, of course, anyone can nominate themselves. They would go up for a vote at that time. Right, so this one, we're appointing them to the early career research. This then, if they've done it for 2 years, they could then nominate themselves to be on the EC full time. Does that make sense? That everyone got that? Okay, so we're good with that? Yeah?
But it's worth reminding everybody that has been, the Constitution says that it's been a member in good standing for at least 1 year, so they will be in that position anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. By 2 years, they'll be in good standing. Cool. So we'll add that in. And here's the other thing that was brought up, and we obviously aren't going to do this without approval and thoughts and ideas. So now this is open for discussion. The idea of potentially creating, again, there's no money in it, it's for people's tenure, a teaching award. Should it be something else on top of a book and a manuscript? Should we give a teaching award every year? It is something that other groups do, other larger groups. It would require a set of judges, and we've had some folks offer that they would be judges in that. It would require a package of materials that a person would have to put together. Anna, where are you at? Anna, you want to come down and explain it?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I can just explain it from here. So,
Either way.
But I wrote up a proposal, and I'm trying to recall who reviewed it. Ian reviewed it.
Yes.
Got some really good feedback. But I think probably all of us are familiar with doing this at our universities, right? That there's teaching awards we can self-nominate and then get letters of support. So there are different ways to go about doing this, whether we get letters from our students or our colleagues. Useful for all of us who like to engage in these teaching discussions and also be recognized for our work in teaching as well. So still at this point open to suggestions.
We figured this is what we want to talk about this year and see about instituting it next year. So do we have any thoughts, ideas? Certainly we can do that now, and people can, again, email us over the course of the year. Has anyone got a big thing? Yeah, Laura.
Just setting the parameters for what that application process would be. That would be some work to conceive that and set that.
Yeah, that's something we would engage in the executive council if people thought that that was interesting to them. Do we have yeses, nos?
Yes, good idea.
I've got a yes from Armando. That's always good.
Yeah, agree. Good idea.
Agree?
Ooh, here we go. We're getting it there. It's good. All right, so this is worth discussing. And I think we could, we'll put together what that stuff is. We'll probably put something out on the listserv that says, here's what we're thinking of. Please respond to that. We'd like to get it engaged by next year so that if it gives us about 3 or 4 months to put it together, it would give people a couple of months to put together their package and get it in. Paula.
Just a question. Would there be, I guess, you mentioned that a few people have sort of come forward to be available, and would there be a jury like with the word and similar, in a similar way? Would it be done in a similar way?
Exactly. Would there be a panel? Yes. So far, Ian offered to do it. Carmen Sofia Brenna's offered to do it. So we would just look for a third judge at that point, and then offer the materials. Exactly. Anybody else? I'm going to take that as it's worth, we're thinking about what should we discuss next year on the council? What are the new things? So I'm going to add that to our agenda. Beautiful. And I think the nice thing to announce before it's Jan's turn, he's going to get ready to go, is where we're going to be in the next 4 years, all right? So we all know we're going to Olomouc next year, and we're going to hear more about that right now, and especially in terms of what will be the theme, so where we can position our papers and ideas. After that, the next year, we're going to the University of South Australia, and that's Craig Batty who will be hosting that for us. He's the editor of the Journal of Screenwriting, so most of us have seen him in the past. I teased him about coming here. He was very busy, I grant him that, but I will tell you a tiny story. When I first came up with this idea, I was having lunch with him. I can't remember what country I was in at that moment. And I said, hey, what if I did one on women screenwriters? And he said, would the men be invited? And we had a big laugh over that. So yes, Craig will do it the year after. That's 2025. Then we're going, finally, to Oxford with Paula. We'll actually be in person at Oxford after he did that marvelous online conference that we all were able to take part in. And I think for a minute, let's just thank him for that again, because that was huge. It was a huge undertaking, as we all know.
Last year, you don't have to do it every year.
I know, but it was worth it. And then, very excitingly, the year after that, we will be in Milan again, right, with Armando and Paolo and Laura. So that's going to be wonderful. And already, which is the fun part of conferences, we've had some folks come forward and say, oh, we could be next and next and next. So there's a great possibility that we'll be in Mexico City. That would be super exciting. We've heard some offer from Greenwich, so that's very cool. Brazil is still in the mix, so those have not been solidified. So we have the next 4 years solidified, and that's what we know. So now I'm going to run back over to Jan to tell us about next year. Because wants you to put this on the microphone,
Okay.
just so that we can record it.
But I have to.
You can use that one to, here, come on, to talk to everybody. Can you put that on your, or on the front of your I know, sorry. Microphone issues.
Hello.
Yeah, you can speak into that one.
Hey. Hello, everyone. I promised it's gonna be really brief. So maybe who was in Vienna remember the beginning of the presentation. I just recycled it. So next year I wanna invite you to Olomouc for next year's conference. We will have to travel back to Europe, like nearly 5,000 miles to Central Europe, to Czech Republic, to Moravia, to beautiful city of Olomouc, to its center. The conference will take place from 12 to 14 September at Palacký University. The best way how to get to Olomouc is through some of international airports around Olomouc. There are 3 in Czech Republic and also in Poland, Austria or Germany. And then take train or bus. Okay. The conference will be in this beautiful Baroque building where is our department. I can promise you that your presentation will be in one of these beautiful halls. Keynote speakers probably in this one, and everyone else in this. But they are really nice, all of them. Olomouc is famous for 3 things, basically. It's Catholicism, architecture, and really smelly cheese. It has 100,000 inhabitants, and its university is the 2nd oldest in Czech Republic, with the tradition going back to the 16th century. The connection to film industry is just through 2 film festivals, Festival of Video Art and Animation Film, and Festival Academia Film Olomouc, which is focused on documentaries and popularization of science. Another pictures of Olomouc, and the most important information for all of you is that the topic will be something like dialogue, monologue, polylogue, and so on. We are not done with the title, but this is our idea. I attended some panels on this conference, and I know that a lot of you talks about dialogues, and I want to make it the head topic. And of course, who is not comfortable talking about dialogues in screenplays or film is you're free to talk about the dialogue metaphorically as a dialogue of the crew members or intercultural dialogue and so on. So that's it, and here are fine overview of information I told you. Thank you.
And extra special thanks, because some folks who remember, we were meant to go to Brazil next year, but there was a change in the job that the gentleman, Rafael, who's going to host it, had. And we were suddenly scrambling, going, oh heavens, what will we do? And Jan said, I think I can do it at my university. So thank you very much, Jan, for stepping into that space.